Hey, Sean, what do you like about the matchup of your offense with that Tampa Bay defense? You had over 400 total yards and 4 passing touchdowns last time. How critical would it be to get some of those rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, that it was seems like week 3 was an eternity ago now. This is a great defense. They pose a lot of challenges. For us to be successful, we got to do a great job, being able to run it and throw it, but easier said than done. And, certainly if we can get both those things going, that will definitely be instrumental in our success. But, Coach Bowles and their personnel, they pose a lot of challenges for us.
And last one for me, Tom Brady is just different when he gets into the playoffs. How much do you enjoy matching up against his team?
You know what? As a competitor, it's awesome. I mean, he's the most successful guy to ever do this. His mindset, his mentality, his ability, the mental makeup. It's you can't help but appreciate the body of work, the way he handles himself, and as a coach, you're still kind of a fan. I have tremendous respect for Tom. And our guys are going to be excited. We know what a great challenge it is, but to go against the guy that's done it better than anybody else it certainly is a great challenge, one that we're looking forward to.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Dusty.
Sean, when you got Matthew Stafford, could you have imagined winning a big game with him or relying on him so little to throw the ball as you did on Monday night? What does it say about him, about the team, about the possibilities going forward that you could take such a different approach to victory?
Well, I think it's a credit to the team. I thought our defense, for them to start the game where you go 4 series, 3 and out, on the 5th series, it's a pick 6, and on the 6th series, we get an interception. I thought special teams was outstanding. And really, there's a lot of things that go into playing the quarterback position, and it certainly isn't exclusive to throwing it. Matthew did a lot of great things. I thought he was excellent on 3rd down and certainly made the most of his opportunities with the limited times that we did throw it. But that was just based on the way that the game unfolded. You always have an ideal plan, but I think you have to be able to anticipate the inevitable changes or the kind of the flow of the game and how that dictates what's the best way to be able to win it. And that was what we felt like the other day. So that was it was a great team win. Matthew did a great job with his part, and we'll see what this week looks like.
I know after the San Francisco game, you said that some of the late play calling was influenced by his toe injury. Were there any physical concerns playing into the approach on Monday?
No, there was no limitations. He felt good. Everything was up and available to be called. He was feeling great.
Very good.
Lindsay.
Sean, Matthew just said that when facing Tom Brady, you have to be prepared to go out there and score in order to compete with him. So I'm just wondering how much pressure is on your offense to put together probably its best performance of the season.
Well, I think again, it kind of goes back to the previous question, based on how the game unfolds. You know that this is a team that you have tremendous respect for and that's capable of scoring in bunches. They've done a great job offensively, and with Tom at the switch, how explosive and how frequently they can. That being said, we still have confidence in our defense and need to be able to adjust and adapt accordingly. Our goal every time we get out there on the field offensively is to try to move the ball and score points. And then sometimes based on the way that the game is unfolding, it might dictate a little bit more urgency or a little bit more patience based on how we want to play it in all 3 phases. And that's part of being able to, feel that flow of the game like we've talked about. But, our goal is to try to put together a good plan and our players to execute to the best of their ability every single snap that they play. And hopefully that leads to a lot of points and the Rams winning at the end.
Is there any advice or wisdom that you share with Matthew in regard to a playoff game on the road and what's sure to be a pretty crazy environment?
No, you know what? He's played 3 playoff games on the road. He's been in these situations before. He's got so much experience that he can draw on. I thought he did a great job last week, and it's really just doing the best job that we can, collaborating and being connected, to help our team within the framework of our roles.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Jordan.
Hey, Sean, wonder if you have updates on Andrew, Taylor Rapp, Ernest Jones, and David Long.
Yeah, so David's doing good. If we were to practice today, Whitworth would have been a DNP with his knee. Buddy Howe would have been a DNP with his hamstring. Rapp is still working through the concussion protocol stuff. And then everybody else, would be in good shape. And then it looks like we'll start Ernest Jones 21-day clock probably tomorrow.
And then Sean, Matthew has the highest EPA per play against the blitz so far this season. What makes him what are the factors, actually, not just the quarterback, what are the factors that make him so effective against the blitz?
I'd be interested to see what the factors are and how they dictate and determine what exactly is a blitz and what's not. Can't keep up with all these good numbers, but I think the factors does a great job recognizing it. I think one of the things that a quarterback is responsible for that really is a separator is solving the problems. And in a lot of instances, it might mean speeding it up, finding your quick element throw, knowing where the voids and the vacancies are if they're sending more than 4 guys forward, and not being able to play loaded zone or whatever coverage contour they're playing behind it. And so I think it's just good feel, good ownership, good understanding. And then ultimately, guys doing a good job with the blitz pickups, and then being able to separate and come open. And, Cooper articulated that pretty good against Jacksonville when he had his touchdown.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Gary.
Hey, Sean, I know you said yesterday that not normal was normal this year for you guys. But in this week, with Kevin and Raheem and Thomas Brown kind of in the mix for head coaching jobs, is that another element that you guys have to deal with this week, and how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, no, it's not, because those guys do a great job of being able to compartmentalize. I think to ignore, what an awesome opportunity it is, I think that's naive. You want to acknowledge it, but hey, let's prepare and then take some time. It's not like we spend all 24 hours of the day preparing for the Bucs. And so, what these guys have done based on the way that they operate is they're prepared to really reflect really well on who they are, how they want to lead, the visions that they have if they're able to get an opportunity to become a head coach. So these are things these guys have been prepared for, just being able to get to know some of these teams that they'll get a chance to talk to. But I'm not in the least bit concerned about it taken away from their focus and concentration as it relates to their roles and responsibilities for us to try to go win against the Bucs. It's a blessing. And I think all of those things are really a really neat reflection of great people. Those guys are all great guys. And anytime you're able to have success, usually a lot of people reap the rewards. And I'm really happy for them to get an opportunity to compete for those jobs.
And then in regard to Stafford, just as efficient as he played in the last game, I know you've said you never want him to kind of have to harness it in. You want him to be who he is and take those shots. But as you get deeper into the playoffs, is there a sense that you can't take as many shots as you took in the regular season?
I think it's situationally, I think, we talk about it all the time. Shot call doesn't necessarily mean shot taken, but you want to be aggressive, but smart with the way that you go compete. And I think that's what he's always done. You still have, a great defense that does a lot of different things that can pose some problems, but, you just play within yourself, one play at a time. And, the quarterback position, I think, is the most difficult position in all of sports. And even guys that are the best, like these two guys that'll be playing in this game this weekend with Tom and Matthew. There's a couple times a game that I'm sure they'd say, I wish I could have that decision back. And you just hope that, we make good decisions and consistently stack good blocks. And then there's an element of making sure that we try to put guys in the right positions and well around him. So there are layers to it, but he understands, how we want him to be able to play and the challenges, while still knowing that, hey, let's go compete to the best of our ability in a great atmosphere and environment in Tampa.
Thanks very much.
Stu.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sean, just a couple of follow-up questions on Whit and Rapp specifically. I know you were waiting on the results of scans yesterday for Whit. Did you get those back, and has that changed his day-to-day status at all?
Yeah, it's good, because you don't officially have to rule him out, but he's got some swelling in that knee and that ankle. It's a miracle. I mean, he's like Gumby. I mean, the way that it got rolled up on, it was not a good looking play when you watch it, on the replay, but he's a resilient guy, responds quickly. He's been a quick healer. I mean, for him to be able to play and start at tackle at the age of 40 tells you everything you need to know about how blessed he is with his genetics and the way he takes care of himself. But we'll see how quickly he can turn around. Not sure whether he'll be able to go or not this week. We'll take it a day at a time. And fortunately, the scans, gave us some information where you didn't have to rule him out. With Rapp, we're just taking that a day at a time, the concussion protocol and kind of going through those strategic steps and making sure that, when you are active, you're not having any symptoms. Those are the things that we're working through right now. And I know Taylor's going to do everything in his power to be ready if he can.
So that's the stage of the protocol that he's in, the just going, like making sure he's not experiencing any symptoms anymore before he can go to
And
practice.
he's not out of that yet. There's a lot of layers to it, as you guys would imagine, but kind of the last hurdle that you have to clear before you end up being, clear to return to play is being able to take part in all those physical activities and remain asymptomatic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll wrap with Lindsay, then Steve.
Sean, I know you mentioned after the game that 40-yard completion from Odell was something he ran in New York and pull it up in exact same play. Did you bring that up and ask Odell if he wanted to do that? Did Odell bring that to you and say, I want to do this?
No, I've obviously watched his career from afar, so I was very familiar with his resume, but he had a play a week ago in practice that was kind of just ad lib where, a play got kind of off schedule and you could just see just raised up and whipped the ball about 55 yards effortlessly down the field. And I thought, and we thought as coaches, maybe we should think about getting this guy a trick play. You see some of the experiences that he had, and that play fit really well versus that defensive structure. And so, hey, not afraid to copy it. It was a good idea by the Giants back then, and we got 40 yards out of it on Monday night.
Mirror image play. It looked awesome.
There you go. He did a great job.
Steve.
Hey, Sean, I got two for you. But first off, to go back to the offensive line, I mean, Todd Bowles, as the saying goes, gets off the bus blitzed, and he brings pressures from all over the place. In any way, do you react to that in terms of maybe having to go too tight or maybe keeping some structures in the backfield to help? Or do you figure, let's be aggressive and try to exploit the voids when they do come?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. And again, it goes back to, all right, well, what types of pressures? He does a great job situationally, kind of really challenging in a lot of different areas, and sending a bunch of different guys forward. They have the ability to be able to play coverage. And I think that's what makes him so good, Steve. So we've got to be ready to adjust and adapt. There is some familiarity, but if anything, it just gives you that much more respect for him. And what a unique challenge. He does a great job schematically. And then they've also got the personnel, and he does a great job putting those great players in the right spots.
Okay. And you and Bruce are both going through it too. You've done it for the past years. But when coaches, before a big game like this, are having to interview for head coaching jobs or things like that, how do you handle that? Maybe in terms of advising them how to compartmentalize and prep for this, but also making them realize they do have the job to do, and this is a big moment.
Yeah, I really believe that. I think you can do a great job of preparing yourself, to go show well in these interviews, while also doing a great job being thorough with your preparation, getting your players ready to go, and your roles and responsibilities within the framework of kind of how we put together the game plan. What I think's naive is, I'm not going to think about it. Of course you're going to think about it, if you have this unique opportunity. And so I think, talking about some of the experiences I had, it's even a little bit different now based on just the implementation of being able to meet with people on Zoom and things of that nature. So I know I was so fortunate at an early age to be able to get an opportunity to compete for these roles. And what a hypocrite I would be if I didn't try to say, hey, listen, go compete to the best of your ability. If that's a goal that you have, go shoot your shot, and make sure that, hey, if I can help in any form or fashion, I'm happy to do that. And then they also know what their roles are, given the week and what we have at stake. And so, when I went through this with different coaches before, I didn't think it in the least bit took away from Zach Taylor's ability to prepare, going into a Super Bowl when he kind of knew he was going to become the Bengals head coach. Staley was getting opportunities before last year and did a great job of kind of keeping his focus while also, being able to go show well when you get a chance to talk to teams. And I think it's a great opportunity for those guys, Steve. And I'm not worried about it taking away from, our focus on the Bucs.
Great. Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.